The next topic we're going to take a look at is rate of change. Okay, so on graphs of linear relationships, slope describes the steepness of a line. How vertical or how horizontal a line appears. Slope is the ratio of the vertical change compared to the horizontal change. More importantly for us, slope is the rise over run. And very, very important for us, slope is equal to the rate of change of the graph. Okay? Very often, you will see the words rate of change. You will not see test questions ask you about slope. You need to know that slope and rate of change are the exact same thing. All right, this very first section asks us to review the 4 types of slope by labeling each graph. These graphs right here represent a positive rate of change. Okay, reading our graph from left to right, we see it going up the page. It is a positive rate of change. That graph is increasing. This second one has a negative slope. Again, reading our graph from left to right, this time we see the graph move down the page. Our next two, I'm going to go ahead and start by giving you their slopes and then showing you a way to remember them. We have a 0 slope with a horizontal line, and we have an undefined slope with a vertical line. Okay? A very good way for you to remember this is that you can write out the letters that start their slopes using the line. That graph right there with a 0 slope, you can use that horizontal line to draw the letter Z for 0 slope. This graph with an undefined slope, you can use that vertical line to draw a U for undefined slope. Two common types of questions for rate of change will be asking you to find the rate of change from both a graph and a table. So let's go ahead and do both right now in our calculator. In this calculator I have open on the right side of my screen, you can actually download this from the App Store. Okay? All you have to do is search TI-84, which is the names of the calculators we use in class, and download the first one that comes up. All right, so this table shows a linear relationship between x and y. Find the rate of change of y with respect to x. So remembering rate of change just means slope. In our calculator, we will click Stat, and we will click 1 for Edit. Then we're going to go ahead and type our entire table of values into our calculator using line 1 for x, using line 2 for y. Be careful with your negatives. After that, we're going to go ahead and do linear regression on our calculator, clicking Stat, arrowing over to where it says Calc, going down to number 4, where it says linear regression ax plus b, and then clicking Enter. And your calculator will look a little different than mine, but it'll say the same thing. It'll say y equals ax plus b. Then it'll give you a couple values, an a, a b, an r squared, and an r. It is your job to remember that in your calculator, that first value it gives you right there, a, is your slope. A is your rate of change. Y equals ax plus b. That a is the same thing as m it is your slope. So in this case, our slope is a equals 0.625. Same process applies for graphs. The only difference with graphs is you have to go ahead and find those nice, perfect, pretty points that fall perfectly on our grid lines. I see 2 right there, but there are plenty more on this graph for you to pick from. I see 1 over here. And it is your job to go ahead and write out some of these points. For example, this first one is -5, 0. This one over here looks like it is 5, 4. And now that we have a few points, we can go in our calculator, stat 1, open a table, and type in these points. X's on one side on L1, Y's on the other side. Stat calc 4, linear regression. And we get our A value again, our slope again. 0.4 is our rate of change. Again, very important when you're only typing 2 points in that you keep your X's and your Y's separated on L1 and L2, X and Y. Putting our X's on one side, putting our Y's on the other.